Alrighty then. Let's get in front of the fire here. Get in front of the fire. Okay. My foot has fallen asleep and I don't know how to fix it. This is very frustrating. Not a good way to start a live stream, by the way. Let me make sure YouTube caught it and make sure we are actually live here. Hey, Jamie, can you make sure we're live? Jamie would never work for Beagle Eye Visions. All right. We are live. Welcome back to Beagle Eye Visions. I'm very excited. I've been wanting to do this for a long time. And I keep telling Dennis Gilmour that I will do it, so finally I am here. Although I was on a roof for the last 2 days. So the last 2 days, I've had today and yesterday off. So instead of actually enjoying my days off, because I opened a credit card, I decided to work on my days off. So I was on a roof the past 2 days, and I'm very sore. I'm still shaking off my winter bod. You know, I was in way better shape last year. But this winter was, man, the snow just sucked. So tired of snow. But it was a beautiful day outside. Super gorgeous. Sun was out all day. I probably got a little bit of sun for sure. Yeah, I kind of feel it now that I think about it. Got a little bit of color. Got some farmer's tan going on the roof. I was the fiddler on the roof today in South Bend, Indiana. But yeah, I need to pay off my credit card and pay off Finger Hut. I'm still. I'm pretty sure I paid off the PlayStation at this point, but now at this time, I'm still probably paying off the PlayStation Portal, which is what I ordered for myself for Christmas when I was in West Virginia. So I ordered a brand new PlayStation Portal so I could help build my credit. So that's almost all paid off, a couple hundred on that. And then I got the credit card, which I'm using my credit card to help pay for the brand new guitar. Because, you know, for those of you who follow the channel, you guys know that my guitar got broken by some alcoholic jackass retard. Had to kick his dumb ass out. He still never bought me a guitar. Like this guy, I wish he would maybe, you know, become a man and apologize for how stupid his actions were. But, you know, in a perfect world, well, you know, you kind of have to stay grounded in reality. Unfortunately, but yeah, it would totally be sick if he could, like, man, it'd be awesome. I'll probably never see a dime from that guy. Can't even keep a job. But anyways, wow, my controller fell. But anyways, so I'm very tired. You know, give a little caveat. I'm very tired. I'm very sore. My back hurts. I didn't have any knee pads, so I was roofing. I was running the nail gun. Each shingle gets 4 nails on the nail gun, and then, you know, every, like, I'm going to say maybe every 7, 8 shingles, you got to reload the nails. So it's, I was running, I think yesterday was the first time I've ever ran a nail gun. I think that was the first time I've ever used that. Actually. When I was in woodshop class in high school, I was always against using power tools. But now, especially that I'm older, I guess my fear of power tools is I'm not going to say I've conquered my fear of power tools. I certainly haven't conquered my fear of heights. Oh, I bet people were laughing at me getting on and off that ladder, because... But anyways, yeah, so please excuse my hesitations, my William Shatner-esque pauses. You know, I will be reading the first chapter of the Unveiling. We'll be reading through that. I got some Twisted Teas giving me caffeine here, perking me up. I have work tomorrow at the pharmacy at the store, so I'll be cashiering. I won't be on a roof. Thank Jesus, Bruce Lee, Christ. I'm very grateful for that. Even though it's probably the weather's been getting really good, so I really don't want to be stuck at work. I really want to skate, but I can't. I want to skate today, but I'm literally too sore, and I need new wheels. If I went to go skate today, I'd probably hurt myself, which which would suck. You don't want to hurt yourself. You don't want to overextend yourself. So I should probably stick to a guitar if I'm going to be doing anything active. But I'm so freaking sore. I'll probably just end up taking a nap after this. Waking up at midnight, falling asleep at like 8 p.m., 7 or 8 p.m. I do, since Valentine's Day just passed, the Bob Marley movie was released around Valentine's Day. So when me, my little sister, and this gorgeous torta that I took, and my mom, we all went to go see the Bob Marley movie. So I think for nostalgia and just because Bob Marley was a true rebel, he understood natural law and he lived by those principles. And his music is obviously freaking beautiful. I was just listening to Stephen Marley in the shower. Once I got home, I took a shower, took the dogs out. Dogs pooped. Yesterday, I wanted to live stream yesterday, but I did some house chores. I picked up dog poop. I took a shower, and then I just kind of hung out. I was really doing nothing. Oh, I finished my finals dailies on the finals. I need to upload speaking of the finals and dubby dubs, I need to upload a dub. I'll get to it if I'm not too tired. We'll see how I feel after I get done with this Chautauqua today. But thank you so much for tuning in. Really appreciate it. Appreciate you guys if you're catching the live stream later. All right. Hopefully these modern-day Chautauquas will gain more popularity. I know, like I said, it's not the best quality, since I'm just playing a video game. It's a beautiful day out. I'm going to go hang out on the ship up here. Yeah, I know it's not the best quality. I don't have any editing software. I can't afford it right now. But, if I keep doing these caches like Mike Nolan, nah. I have a brand new computer in literally no time. Literally no time. And, I don't know. I feel like I need to get a vehicle because I live in a city. But, I have public transportation, even though public transportation absolutely sucks. You smell homeless people, and they smell like piss, and they always smell like cigarettes and piss. That's kind of gross. But, I don't know. Maybe I'll stick to public transportation. Because I believe, just thinking out loud right now, I believe my priority, pretty sure my priority is getting a new computer. And then once I get a new computer, maybe I can start saving for that. Who knows? Who freaking knows, man? I don't know. But I would love to get a new computer, and that way I could do a presentation and get on. I would love to do a presentation for freedom under natural law. If my first presentation I've ever done actually, it's not going to be my first presentation I've ever done. But if I could do my first, in public presentation, on books, I'd love to do a presentation on books, and I would do a phenomenal job. I just need to get that computer upgraded. And then I can start making progress on it. I really want to do that presentation. I've had the idea brewing in my mind for years, especially since I've started this YouTube channel, doing a brand new book review every first of the month. And for the month of March, like I said, I'm not going to do a book review. I'm going to take a break, but I will make a video. I'm going to make a video trying to encourage people. Hopefully I won't get too angry. I'm going to try to make a video to encourage people to read a book. You guys don't have to do a book review, but books are so important. It's like I just can't even express how important books are. I know nowadays a lot of people don't read books, even though we have encyclopedias carried in our fucking back pockets, and people still don't read books. I could talk about books for literal days. I could sit here and talk about, but nobody's tuned in anyway. And nobody reads books nowadays, so who would tune in? There'd be like 3 people tuned in, if anybody. But anyway, so I'm going to, for this, I titled this Chautauqua Inner City Blues. right? So off the top of my head, I don't have any notes. I'm going to read the first chapter of Dennis Gilmour's first book, The Unveiling, which I already did. Again, talking about books, I've already done a book review on this book. So go check it out if you would like to. You know, if you feel so inclined after you get done watching this live stream, go check out the Unveiling book review. It's in the playlist of book reviews. So I'm going to read the first chapter of The Unveiling, and we'll talk about the events, talk about what happened, talk about modern day, and relate the first chapter of this book to everything that has been going on nowadays, which is pretty crazy, because I feel like, I mean, I haven't read this book since I've done the book review, so just, again, off the top of my head, I'm pretty sure there's going to be some good things to talk about. Other aspects, I really enjoy this book. It's a fun read. It's very entertaining, and there's also allegory. It's an allegorical book, for sure. It has the cover of this book reminds me of Esoteric Hollywood from Jay Dyer, or it also kind of has a feeling of the Musical Truth volumes by Mark Devlin. That's what the cover of this book reminds me of. I'm just looking at the book right now before we begin. Actually, I'm going to use the restroom before I get started on this book. So we're going to read the first chapter, and then after the first chapter is over, and we'll discuss it. Hopefully people will tune in and add to the discussion in the live chat. But if not, it's okay. I know I don't have too many subscribers. But so I'll use the restroom, read the chapter of the book, we'll discuss it, we'll get into the Chautauqua, and then after all that is said and done, since the title of this Chautauqua today is called Inner City Blues, I'm going to read the lyrics of Marvin Gaye's song Inner City Blues, and again, do the same thing like I'm doing with the first chapter of this book. We're going to read these lyrics and talk about how they relate to modern day. And the song Inner City Blues was written in like the 70s or something. I'll get into the notes, I'll do research, but I'm very excited. Gonna be a good episode today. I hope people find value. And then, of course, to top it all off, I'm going to plug the Freedom Under Natural Law Conference, which is coming up at the end of February. I'm very excited. So excited. I have requested those days off at work. I have them off already on the schedule, so it's coming in hot. I'm so excited. I love these Freedom Under Natural Law conferences. I always get so fired up. I get inspired. I mean, the artwork is beautiful. The music is beautiful. The people who are doing the presentations are beautiful. Like, there's some amazing faces. Some of the best, most intelligent modern minds that we have on the planet attend and do presentations at this Freedom Under Natural Law conference. And it's just it's always such a beautiful weekend. It's always so much fun to hang out with all these people and hanging out in the chat. Even if you aren't doing a presentation or if you're not working in the background, it's just so much fun to hang out and read the chat and the comments, because sometimes there's goofballs, and it's the internet, so they live stream on multiple different platforms, so there's always sometimes some trolls will join in, even though the trolls are stupid and makes everybody who takes natural law serious, the trolls make us roll our eyes into the back of our head, but it is funny, the trolls are always funny, because they think they're actually making an impact by typing comments on a live stream. But anyways, my hands are so dry from working in this winter. So let me use the restroom, and without further ado, we'll get started. Let me move so Rare doesn't kick me off. I'll be the fiddler on a roof again. Look, I'm back on a roof, back doing my regular job. This roof could use a lot of work. Like, we could easily replace these 2x4s. Look, it's not flush. It's all completely, it looks like they used 2x4s from a broken shipwreck that were already broken. Like, this is totally uneven. It's got magma coming off the top. Like, there's a cannon up here? Oh, you can't use it? Yeah, so we need, like, this cannon needs to be replaced. It's just tied down. It's probably adding so much weight onto this roof. And then you got the chains on. Yeah, this roof needs so much work. Oh my gosh, like don't even get me started on the. And there's a hole in the roof. Like what if it rains? There's like oh god, they need to hire me. They need to hire me and Aunt Jessie here because this roof definitely needs some work. This is the Legend of Monkey Island over there. All right, so I'm gonna sit here. This looks like a good spot. I'm gonna use the restroom. I'll be right back. We'll get started with today's Chautauqua. Thank you so much again for tuning in. I can't wait. I've been waiting to do. I've been wanting to do this for so long, so I can't wait. All right, I'll be right back. All right. Want to make sure the microphone kept it. All right. Where to go? Testing? All right. Sick. Sorry about the pause there. Okay, let's get into the book. Let me get a little drink. Wet my whistle here. So tired. I feel like I've been standing my entire life, and I just sat down. Okay. So this is The Unveiling by Dennis Gilmour. Me and Dennis Gilmour met through Mark Passio's How to Become the True Media seminar. I highly, 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 highly recommend it for anyone and everyone. Seriously, it will teach you so. I learned an unbelievable amount, and it completely. I know people say that the seminar is kind of expensive, which it is, especially for working class guys like us. It is kind of up there, but I promise you, it is worth every penny. Everything that you learn in that class is just phenomenal. In the before class, you get to hang out with Mark Passio, and after class, you get to ask him questions. It's just it's worth seriously, it's worth every single penny. But don't take the class unless you have a modern day computer. I will add that, because I kind of regret taking the class when I did, but I felt like I just had to take it, right? In case something happens to Mark Passio, because anything can happen when you speak about freedom, when you speak about morality, and you speak, especially if you speak out against the government as much as Mark Passio does. There's no guaranteed safety. I mean, there's no guaranteed safety in life, period. That's just a principle that people should hold in their minds. There is no such thing as guaranteed safety in this life. This life is dangerous. You can die from a vapor. A man can be killed from but a vapor. So, take that and do with it what you will. There's no such thing as safety. Safety is a utopia. It doesn't exist. You have periods of safety and moments of safety, but a permanent safety is an illusion. There's no such thing. But man, I love how crisp this book is. I took really good care of this copy. Oh, and also, before I get started, I do want to talk about Dennis Gilmour has a giveaway on Goodreads.com, I think. You can find this giveaway on Dennis Gilmour's website, Right Pharma Publishing. No, let me look it up here. Right Pharma Parable Publishing. Let me see. Let me do a little Bing search. Right Pharma Parable Publishing. That's Dennis Gilmour's website, Parable Publishing. Right Pharma Parable Publishing. Yep, and it pops up on Substack if you type in Right Pharma Parable Publishing, and I'll spell it out for you guys so you know. It's WRITE, like writing. So WRITE, PHARMA, PARABLEPUBLISHING. And you can type that into a search engine, and it brings up the website, right? pharmaparablepublishing.com. It'll pop up. You can click no thanks here, and then as soon as you click no thanks, you'll see a big monkey. It says preamble post. RE colon the run up to my Goodreads novel promotional draw. So you can win. You have an opportunity to win a hard copy of this man's book for absolutely free. All you have to do is click this big strong monkey man right here, type in your email, subscribe, and you can click for the upcoming promotion. It says the Parable of the Monkey Man, and then you can enter yourself into the giveaway to win a hard copy of The Unveiling, the book that I am about to read right now. So it's really good. He's always doing giveaways. Dennis is always doing giveaways, whether it's digital or hard copy. He usually lets you know. I really want a digital copy of this book. I might just end up buying it just so I can, just so I can support him, because Dennis Gilmour is an advocate for freedom. I would say he's Canadian, but he's more of a patriot than most of the, flatfoot, lazy Americans that live here in this country, which is absolutely wild. Hello. Oh, dang it. Hold on. Messed the setup. No, I definitely don't want to sleep. What's going on here? No, we're not sleeping here. All right. Hello. All right, mouse still moving, so I'm going to assume we're here. So I totally lost my spot. Sorry, like I said, I'm super tired. My back is sore. My buns are sore. My back is sore. All right. So finally, I'll finally get started here. Okay. I do need to stream this game more on Twitch because I'm on the Sea of Thieves content creator crew. So right after this, I'll probably head over to Twitch and finish the Monkey Island Tall Tale. So here is The Unveiling by Dennis Gilmour. Don't forget that you can win this book. Win a copy of this book at pharmaparablepublishing.com. Oh, and it's right here. He's got, on the first page of this book, it's Right Pharma Parable Publishing. It's right here. It shows the website name right here in the first page of the book. Copyright 2009 by Dennis Gilmour, all rights reserved. It says, this book is a work of fiction. Names, places, characters, incidents, and organizations either are created from the author's imagination or are used fictitiously. Any resemblance to actual events, locales, organizations, or any person, living or dead, is completely coincidental. Except for brief quotations in articles or reviews, no part of this book may be reproduced in any form or by any means currently in existence or that might come into existence in the future. And by the way, I got permission from Dennis Gilmour to do this, and he was the one that gave me the idea. So thank you, Dennis, for this amazing book, and thank you for the idea of giving me more content, because I actually love creating content. It's fun. Especially content about freedom, like with these Chautauquas. So, Chapter 1 of The Unveiling by Dennis Gilmour. The digital readout in the DVD player indicated 3:55 p.m., only 5 more minutes before the time scheduled for the special telecast. Valerie Saunderson and her children, Nick and Stephanie, clung to each other on the living room sofa and watched the TV. They were as still as statues, as their senses of sight and hearing strained to funnel every bit of information into their minds and make sense of it. As if they tried hard enough they'd come up with an answer for all of this madness. So right away in this first chapter of this book, it makes me think of my childhood. This is what we used to do back in the day when I was a kid growing up. We used to watch movies. Watching the TV was a huge thing. I remember it was such a big deal when we finally got cable television. And when we had MTV, we had a channel that played constant stream of music back then. Oh, it was so awesome. That was when MTV was still MTV. Now it's just Rob Dyrdek's channel. Rob Dyrdek's channel of all of Rob Dyrdek's TV shows. That's all MTV is now. I wish MTV was still played actual music, but we don't live in a perfect world, unfortunately. But yeah, so we would, and I'm a '90s baby, so we would have Hollywood Video or Family Video or Blockbuster, where you would go to a store and you could rent any movie that was on the shelf. Right? Any movie, any DVD. I loved VHSs when I was growing up. VHSs were huge when I was growing up. And then it switched to DVDs, and then it came Blu-ray, blah, 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 blah. Showing my age there. But you would go into Hollywood Video was always my favorite, because Hollywood Video had, like, Legos, had toys and stuff where you could just spend... So, like, my parents would go and find a movie because, they were the adults, so sometimes I would get to pick out a movie for my birthday or, if it was a special occasion, or if the kids' movies were, like, on sale for $1. Like, Family Video used to have kids' movies for $1, or there was, like, certain deals where it's like, hey, these are the popular movies, because the new movies that came out, that you would have to rent them at a premium price. So if it was a new release movie, sometimes they would have like 12 copies of this new movie that has just got released on DVD, right? But sometimes, unfortunately, you would go to like rent this new movie and you wouldn't get to because everybody would have already rented out the new movie. You didn't get there on time, right? So sometimes there was that. So then if you didn't find the movie that you wanted to watch, you'd have to pick another movie, or you'd have to go pick a movie that was good, because you're renting a movie, right? Sometimes you don't want to take a gamble, because sometimes the movie's bad, and then if the movie's bad and the movie sucks, then you've ultimately wasted your $2-3 to rent the movie, right? If it's not a movie worth finishing. So if they didn't have the new release movie that we wanted, sometimes we would rent like one movie that we always watched during my childhood was Full Metal Jacket. We always watched The Shining. We always rented The Lion King for some reason, which, like, I absolutely hate Disney as an adult now. I don't know why we would always rent Lion King. And everybody in the family would sit in the living room and we would all watch this movie together. Lion King. Literally anything Stephen King. Anything that came out that was Stephen King, we'd rent it without hesitation. Full Metal Jacket was like the main go-to. We watched Full Metal Jacket so many times when I was a kid, which is part of the reason why I'm such a huge movie buff. I love film and cinema. I think it's a beautiful art form. In the right hands, especially in the hands of Stanley Kubrick. I mean, that guy is literally a genius. I don't care how anybody feels. There's people who will roll their eyes if you say that Stanley Kubrick is a genius. There's people out there who like roll their eyes because they don't understand. They don't spend time and pay attention to study the allegory. They just look at it as some film, right? And they don't look at the film as art or like this. I mean, Stanley Kubrick spent hours. He obsessed over his films. Every frame had to be perfect. He was so articulate and astute with his directing skills and his writing skills. Oh my gosh. Again, I could talk for days about Stanley Kubrick and just movies in general. But anyways, let's get back to the book. I've ranted too much. And I apologize ahead of time if Pickle and Mom comes home and the beagles start screaming and I gotta pause the reading. material. So here we go. Second paragraph. When Valerie first heard the news several hours ago, she had doubled over in the shock of the words. Her head spun, her heart pounded. She'd since reclaimed some composure for the sake of the children, but didn't feel much better. The knot in her stomach clenched tighter. She tried to be strong and reassured Nick and Stephanie with words of comfort, but all the while struggled to control her own emotions. Let me test the mic, make sure I'm good, make sure I didn't get cut off here. Testing. All right, sick. We're still here. Please don't kick me, Rare. Reports had poured in all day about unprovoked attacks on individuals worldwide by close associates and family members, or sometimes complete strangers. The attackers had no coherent explanation for their actions, and it was mostly being written off as stress. And then suddenly people just disappeared. So the attackers had no coherent explanation for their actions, and it was mostly being written off as stress. So this reminds me of hypnotization. This reminds me of MK Ultra. Wake the Dead podcast has an amazing series on MK Ultra and the Manchurian Candidate. If this subject fascinates you and it's a subject interests you, I highly recommend you go study Wake the Dead podcast. The content that they are doing on the Manchurian Candidate, this new series that Sean and William Ramsey and I forget the other guy, Hans. Sorry, Hans, I almost forgot your name. These guys are modern minds, some of the most intelligent people of the modern day at Wake the Dead podcast. If you don't know anything about MK Ultra, or, please do yourself a favor, go listen to Wake the Dead podcast, because they get into the Manchurian Candidate and hypnotization and MK Ultra. MK Ultra is literally mind control ultra. And there's also another movie, since I've talked about this on the channel before, but a movie called Kingsman. The first Kingsman movie had a scene where one of the Kingsmen goes into a church, and the bad guy, the antagonist of the film, has this device where he cranks the device all the way up, and he controls people's minds with the frequency of this device. And so he turns the frequency all the way up. This is a scene of predictive programming. This is kind of conspiracy candy, getting into that avenue. But they crank this device up, and in the church, everybody in the church loses their minds, and they start killing each other, including the Kingsmen. And the Kingsmen is an organization, if you don't know about the movies. The Kingsmen is an organization that's basically all about morality and being a gentleman and literally doing the right thing because it's the right thing to do. And then the sequel is called The Kingsman Golden Circle, which is a whole nother allegory. I want to do a presentation on the Kingsman movies. I could do like a 4-hour presentation on the Kingsman movies alone. There's so much good allegory, so much good stuff. Like, I really want to see Sean McCann over at Wake the Dead podcast, or maybe Brandon Martin at the Seed Truth Academy. I want to see one of these guys break down the Kingsman. There's so much good allegory in the Kingsman movie. But again, rant aside, let's get back to the material. The attackers had no coherent explanation for their actions, and it was mostly being written off as stress. And then suddenly people just disappeared. Again, people disappearing, that's another allegory. The allegory of Fallout 4 with the Institute and synthetic human beings. That's a whole other allegory. Again, I could do a whole presentation on the allegory of Fallout 4. I absolutely love that game. And shout out to Boston. Freaking love Boston. I really hope I can go there before I die someday. I would love to visit Boston. Suddenly disappeared. The latest count put the number of people who had vanished in the millions. Some experts were speculating a time distortion might have flung people into a different space-time continuum. Some had other theories, but nobody knew for sure. The affected people were from every country on Earth. Young, old, rich, poor, famous, unknown, black, white. The reports kept pouring in so fast that they couldn't tally accurate figures fast enough. One reporter speculated that by the time they were done counting the world's population, perhaps as many as 500 million would be reported as missing. So, unfortunately, I have to take another bathroom break because I'm drinking twisted tea. But I freaking love this. Shout out to Dennis Gilmour. Dennis Gilmour, thank you. I absolutely love the way he writes because when it comes to writing a really a good, entertaining, interesting, coherent story, I think a huge aspect of the story, a huge, really good tool that any author could use in their arsenal is the tool of mystery. Having the idea of mystery, like the audience doesn't know what's going on. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know there's a problem, and we don't know who's causing the problem. We don't know why this is happening. Like, mystery is such a good tool in uh, an author's skill set, you know. And unfortunately, it can go the other direction, like with the Fallout TV show, where mystery gets overused. Like, it can be overused, but I love when a good author uses mystery against the audience. It makes a story so much more intriguing. Like the briefcase in Pulp Fiction, for example. I've talked about that before on this channel too. But the briefcase in Pulp Fiction, where it leaves the audience to interpret what's in the briefcase, or like in the a Guy Ritchie movie called Rock and Rolla, where the MacGuffin in the movie is a painting, but you never see the painting the entire movie. It leaves that sense of intrigue. Like, what type of painting is it? Who painted it? Is it a Da Vinci? Is it Picasso? Who knows? You know, it leaves it to the audience interpretation, and I absolutely love when authors do it and do it well. It gets me fired up. I freaking completely love it. But let me use the restroom real quick. Using the oh, testing. Okay, when I was using the restroom, uh, other really cool movies. Me and my mom went to go see. I took my mom to go see the movie Knives Out in theaters. Fun. Knives Out is so good. It's a mystery, intriguing. It's a film that the author or the writer of the film uses mystery as a tool, and it's so good. Another really good whodunit movie is named after a Beatles song. The movie's called See How They Run. That's another really good whodunit, using mystery against the audience to make the story that much more entertaining. It's oh man, I freaking love those movies. See How They Run is one that I watched when I was in West Virginia. I watched it by myself, and See How They Run is so freaking good. But let's get back to the material. Let's get back to today's material. One reporter speculated that by the time they were done counting the world's population, perhaps as many as 500 million were reported as missing. The reporter also speculated that perhaps the disappearances were due to some new secret weapon that had malfunctioned in the growing tensions in the Middle East. Oh, and people disappearing. That happens in real life. I mean, go to Walmart. Go to Walmart by the bathrooms and see the missing persons. Look at how many missing persons are on that board. I was recently watching a YouTube channel he was documenting all of the homeless in Texas, all of the homeless people. There are homeless people in Texas literally just disappearing, vanishing off of the face of the planet, which reminds me of another allegorical film with Ice-T, Ice motherfucking T, an allegorical film called Surviving the Game. It's an Ice-T and Gary Busey. Gary Busey is the bad guy. Such a good bad guy in that movie. I highly recommend that. That's like a kind of a 90s movie, Surviving the Game. But this is happening in real life. People are missing, especially homeless people, especially sex workers. Sex workers disappear off the face of the planet constantly, especially in in Mexico. Stories and reports of sex workers disappearing happens happens literally every day. So again, this is another one of these events where Dennis was I don't know what he was channeling. Maybe it's his subconscious, but this is happening to this day. It's really, really interesting. It had only been back to the material. It had only been several years since Iran had proven to the world that they had the nuclear bomb by a test detonation on their own soil. The United States had immediately tried to push a resolution through the United Nations. Of course, they pushed it through the United Nations, right? Just like real life. And called for several sanctions and threatened force if non-compliant. But Russia and China had vetoed the resolution. Russia and China! So that, again, that's like kind of... What is going on? Why is this... Is there a freaking Skelly ship? Okay, this music's making me nervous. I'm gonna move. Move spots here. I'll sit on Monkey's face, because after this I'll hop over to Twitch and do the Monkey Island Tall Tale. The third part of the Monkey Island Tall Tale. I'll stream that over on Twitch after this. Oh, man. So, people going missing. Oh, but Russia and China had vetoed the resolution. I feel fiberglass in my fingers and it hurts. Vetoed the resolution, tabling a motion instead for an intensive diplomatic effort and tough sanctions, though far less crippling to Iran than what America had wanted. At this, the U.S. had threatened unilateral invasion of the Muslim country. But Russia and China had boldly sided with Iran, promising full-scale war if she tried, gambling the U.S. would back down, which she did. Israel... Which, getting into some emerald language, some green language of Israel. Break that word down. What is Israel? Where did Israel come from? That Israel is a combination of Isis, Ra, El. And Isis is an Egyptian deity, the sacred feminine. Ra is a bird head, which, again, I could break these down. And I could talk about just the green language of these two names alone. The name of Israel alone I could talk about and break it down. But I'll leave it to Cubbyhole Podcast. Listen to Cubbyhole Podcast. I have a playlist here on Beagle Eye Visions. Or if you don't want to listen to the playlist here on Beagle Eye Visions and be entertained through gaming, go listen to Cubbyhole Podcast, one of the most underrated podcasts on the planet. Cubbyhole Podcast has so much good, valuable information. And this is how I learned about the breakdown of Israel, is through Cubbyhole Podcast. So you have Isis, Ra, El. Ra is the bird head sun god, which is enlightenment. Or the sun, right? S-U-N or S-O-N. It sounds phonetically the same. There's a reason for that. It's the fire within. And then El, I forget what El is. I forget that part. So I'm just going to keep moving on, go back to the material. Israel was similarly constrained by the same bellicose, retaliatory war talk from the two communist nuclear powers. So years dragged by peppered with talks, sanctions, periodic threats of war from the United States and Israel, more talks, UN resolutions, but no real action. Yep, exact. Again, this is so spot on with real life. When was this book written? This book was written in the 2000s. 2009 looks like when it was published. Yeah, copyright 2009 by Dennis Gilmour. And again, this is in this first chapter. This is aged phenomenally. This is everything that has happened in real life has been happening and continues to happen. All this stuff with talks and UN resolutions, but no real action. Absolutely. America's colossal failure in the war on terror. The war on terror. Especially the debacle known as the Iraq War. pretty much guaranteed that the world no longer trusted Americans' leadership on the international scene and the U.S. Again, aged flawlessly. Everybody on this planet looks at America as a bunch of spoiled children, and we are. You know, most Americans are dumb, inbred, hillbilly jackasses who don't read books, who think that voting is a moral virtue. You know, voting, go vote for yes, vote for me. I'm the racist pedophile. Vote for me. I'm going to have 8 years. It's going to be huge. So, get the racist pedophile in office. And he's going to fight even after 2 terms. He's going to try to illegally God, I hate that fucking racist pedophile. What a loser, dude. Get me in the ring with Trump. Please. I'll pay money. I'll work for a year straight to get into the ring with that orange racist cock. All right. Hopefully I'm still streaming and YouTube didn't slap me with anything. Lost my spot here. Pretty much guaranteed the world no longer trusted America's leadership on the international scene in the U.S. was pretty much hated universally. Yes, exactly. Exceptions only amongst most of our English-speaking brother nations and Israel. The rest of the world seemed determined to band together to prevent another Iraq situation. And we have another Iraq situation. War never changes. And guess what? Like all of the thing that is happening in Gaza right now, it's never stopped. It's 1984, Big Brother. War is perpetual. Just like in 1984, war never stops. There's always a reason for war. Whether it's in Gaza, whether it's in Africa, Gaza, Iraq, doesn't matter. War is perpetual. There's always a Big Brother. There's always an enemy against Big Brother. There's always a reason to employ 18-year-olds who are barely out of high school, put a gun in their hand, and go give them a reason to kill. There's always a reason to go out there and kill. Right? That's why they still employ the 18-year-olds, and that's what you see the order-following cowards hanging out at high schools. You know, get them while they're young. Fucking sickening. The rest of the world seemed determined to band together to prevent another Iraq situation, and the U.S. just couldn't muster enough support to risk lone military action against Iran, which only served to embolden the Muslim country into openly continuing nuclear tests. Now, just last week, Iran announced that it was finally ready to use the arsenal of nuclear weapons that it had been stockpiling. Iran held the world hostage as it set a 1-week deadline for Israel to agree in principle to vacate the Holy Land and relocate elsewhere or face nuclear annihilation. Most of the Arab countries quickly united around Iran's leadership and form a fragile coalition. But Israel refused to be intimidated, openly admitting what the world always suspected. The Jewish nation also had an arsenal of nuclear weapons and would fully retaliate against any strike. The rest of the world tried to mediate through the United Nations, but as Iran's 1-week ultimatum neared without even a hint of resolution, the situation seemed to quickly spiral out of control as the major world powers took sides. The U.S., Britain, Canada, and most of other English-speaking nations stood firm behind Israel, while Russia, China, and Europe sided with the Arab coalition. The U.S. increased military alertness to DEFCON 1, maximum force readiness, and Russia countered. Both nations promised full release of their nuclear arsenals in support of their respective partners in the Middle East and in defense of their homelands. People all over the world started to panic, and martial law had to be implemented virtually worldwide. So this is crazy, because back during when all of our houses became prisons during the scamdemic pandemic, when you were forced to take a shot just to continue to be able to go to work. You guys remember this? It happened less than 2 years ago? I mean, 3 years ago? Did everybody just seemingly forget because they always take the event and brush it under the rug, you know? Live in fear because this reason, oh, they're stopping, they don't live in fear anymore. We got to come up with a new reason to get these guys to live in fear, you know? You guys remember that? Well, martial law, Trump wanted to declare martial law. He openly stated it multiple times. So, again, that's something else that's very similar to... Very similar to real life, you know. What is it? Fiction is stranger than reality. What's that famous quote that I can't remember off the top of my head? All right, let's get back to the material. Even Valerie's hometown of Star City, Louisiana, had an increase in some looting and a strict curfew had been implemented. The town's population was only about 7,000, mostly employed in the oil and gas industry. Oh yeah, and speaking of, so ICE is in Minnesota. Why is ICE in Minnesota? There's no reason. Shouldn't ICE be in Texas? Right? You would think, like right next to the border. How many quote-unquote illegal... You know, I use that term loosely because there's no such thing as an illegal human being. Period. If you were born on this planet, you're not illegal. It doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter what location on the planet you are in, you are not an illegal human being because you crossed some arbitrary line and didn't get permission from a politician to cross the arbitrary line, as Larkin Rose says. The town's population was only about 7,000. Mostly employed in the oil and gas industry. Usually a docile town of mostly middle-class working families where everybody knew each other. Reasonable average people trying to deal with the sudden stress of the world situation. Valerie's husband, Jeff Saunderson, a pharmacist at one of the local drugstores, had told her of the massive increase in use of anti-anxiety medication and antidepressants over the past week. Yeah. How much money does Big Pharma make right now on antidepressants? The number is probably astounding. Record-breaking profits every year on antidepressants. I'm positive. You know, I don't even need to do research in that. I work at a pharmacy. Dennis Gilmour used to work at a pharmacy. Let me use the restroom real quick and we'll get back to the material. I apologize. Like I said, I'm only a human being. We'll be right back. All right. Thanks again for tuning in, everybody. Let me get an Irish cricket in here. Even though I was supposed to be taking a break, but I'm working so much, my body hurts and it stresses me out. I was going to take a break for the whole month of March, but had I not been doing all these side cashy jobs like Mike Nolan, it'd probably be a lot easier for me to not drink, you know, but it is what it is. My freaking back hurts. And Irish crickets help ease the pain. All right. Valerie had also succumbed to the pressure to medicate and suddenly felt the need to do so again. She rose from the sofa and went to the washroom. Again, this is A Brave New World. A Brave New World 1984. This is what I think about when I'm reading this. She opened the cabinet and retrieved a prescription vial from Armstrong's pharmacy for the anti-anxiety medication. Valium, 10 milligrams. The doctor had initially given her Ativan, but it hadn't been potent enough. She went back and insisted on something stronger and longer acting. The directions said 3 times a day as needed, but she found herself taking as much as 6 a day. That's crazy. Everything in moderation, people. As she opened the vial and put the round blue pill in her hand, she recoiled a bit from her frazzled look in the mirror, bags under her deep blue eyes, shoulder-length flame red hair matted and sticking to the sides of her head from nervous sweat, looking more like an unkempt mane of a wild lion than a hair of a late 30s mother of two. She poured a glass of water and swallowed the pill before trying to put on a comforting face for the kids and returning to the sofa. Pressure had seemed to lift somewhat when all the leaders in the growing world conflict suddenly, inexplicably agreed to a meeting at a secret locale for discussions. But it was several days past Iran's deadline, and the tension in the world was palpable. Everybody felt like something was going to happen soon, but nobody expected that something would be millions suddenly disappearing worldwide. And again, back to the scamdemic, plandemic, shamdemic. This is what the energy of the entire world was. You know, people at stores, people who worked at stores were yelling at people. Where's your mask? You can't enter here without him. You know, it was crazy. It was crazy the way people, human beings, treated each other. It got insane. Literally. It was nuts. Shout out to Matt Bennett, like what Matt Bennett would say. It got freaking nuts. I mean, people were, because I'm not putting on a mask. Screw you, dude. I'm not a fucking dog. And let alone, I'm not your fucking dog if you tell me to put a mask on. You know, go fuck yourself. People were yelling at us at Walmart. People were stopping us before we even left the parking lot. Like, you know, because every parking lot has like a street you cross to get to the door of the building. People were yelling at us. Don't come in here. You're not allowed in here if you don't have a mask. Turn around if you don't have a mask. Go back to your car. This is what people were saying. Not allowed to enter a store to go grocery shopping if you don't have a fucking muzzle on your face. Imagine. You know, in 1984, the kids policed the adults. Right? You didn't need the police. People policed themselves in 1984. You know, that's what people were doing during that stupid period of human history. You were cussing each other out for not wearing a dog muzzle. Valerie agreed the most likely explanation was that some new secret U.S. or Russian weapon had misfired. They were likely only two powers with the capability to make such a device. Otherwise, a targeted strike would have only affected one country or group of countries in the conflict. But the disappearances seemed to be totally random. So far, only a handful of people from Star City were unaccounted for. Word had been leaked to the press that the special telecast from the world leaders would explain everything. Valerie had grabbed the first opportunity she could to check with her husband, Jeff. She called the drugstore and was very glad to hear his voice. Quaking though it was, she learned that he had been one of the victims of an unprovoked attack by a longtime customer. Jeff said he was coming home early to be with them, and she hoped he'd make it in time for the telecast from the leaders of the world. Valerie held her children tightly, not saying much, waiting. She clenched her teeth in a vain attempt to remain patient and willed the time to pass quicker. Stay calm, she reminded herself. All her questions would soon be answered, they'd promised. Yeah, look to your world leaders. They'll tell you. They'll give you all the answers. It was all she could do to contain herself, but finally it occurred. The TV screen suddenly went blank. After a few seconds, the picture came back. It showed the president sitting at a long table with various world leaders. Valerie recognized leaders from Canada, Russia, Europe, and several other nations. A tall, handsome man with short black hair sat in the center. He was wearing a sharp-looking gray suit. Of course, they always look good, right? They always have the nicest hairstylist, the nicest, fanciest suits in town. You know, they deliver the news very calm. Even if they're lying to your face, it's very calm. Ooh, excuse me. But this reminds me, like, this scene that Dennis is describing. It reminds me of the movie They Live. You know, another phenomenal allegory. Another little film plug there. I swear I'm not a movie buff. I swear. I promise I'm not a movie buff. Mesmerized by the TV screen, they watched the President of the United States get up and stand behind a podium filled with clusters of microphones and wires. The camera zoomed in on him. Should I use my Trump voice or my Obama voice? Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the world. The president said. Flashes of light and clicking noises danced around as his head as reporters took pictures. While I speak, this message is being simultaneously broadcast worldwide on all channels and translated into all languages. There was a slight pause before he continued. As most of you undoubtedly know, we are here to discuss the world situation and very strange events that have occurred lately. We won't explain it to ourselves, for our special guest is far more capable. That's like Southern Obama. That's okay. We only ask that you try to listen to everything with an open mind before you react. Listen to everything with an open mind. There were several seconds of silence as he looked at his prepared speech, presumably reading a line or two, and shuffled some papers around. Then he looked up. Ladies and gentlemen of the world, for many years mankind has seriously pondered the possibility of intelligent beings other than humans in the universe, but today we have undeniable proof of the existence of extraterrestrial life. The president turned slightly and faced the man at the center of the table. I'm too tired to do Trump voice. I, along with the rest of these world leaders, representative of governments of Earth and the human race, would like to formally introduce to you, the citizens of the world, the Kurak, the Balazan. This, the leader of the Balazan race of beings. A stunned moment of silence fell over the press room. Is he serious? Nick asked. Is our president really that brain dead that he thinks a man in a gray suit is an alien? A gasp of incredulity. Wow, good vocabulary, Dennis. I respect it, brother. A gasp of incredulity filled the press room as crowds of reporters jockeyed for position in front of Kurak. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, too, by the way. Random clicking noises filled the air as camera flashed streaks across Kurak's face like strobe lights. Just wait and see what they say, Valerie said. At 14 years of age, Nick liked calling everybody brain dead, but Valerie couldn't help worrying that this was real and that the aliens were intent on conquering the world. The president wouldn't say something like that if he couldn't prove it. Perhaps the broadcast was to formally declare Earth's surrender. On the other hand, the president didn't seem to be apprehensive about Kurak's presence. His speech, tone of voice, and manner seemed to convey a positive outlook. Ooh, let me shift my feet here and make sure the microphone. Hello? Hello? Testing. Sick. The president began after a suitable moment of silence. He explained that the aliens had a message to bring humans about God. Wait, what? He explained that the aliens had a message to bring humans about God many might not welcome, perhaps even causing worldwide uncertainty about everything. People thought they had known to the point where humans might collapse as a race of intelligent beings. However, after much deliberation, the leaders had decided the world needed to know, as the world situation was becoming untenable anyway. He also tried to reassure the viewers with the revelation that the aliens had helped all parties in the nuclear shutdown to agree to an immediate stand down of all military readiness, and that further help would be forthcoming. He then talked for a few minutes about the Balazans and the benefits to mankind of contact with them, such as enormous leaps forward in science, technology, and medicine. As he started to close, a reporter jumped in with a question. Before I get to the reporter's question, I'm going to move a little bit. Move over. Just so I don't get kicked out of the game. Let's have a sit on the roof again. Alright. Testing. Alright, mouse still moving. We will answer all the questions in due time, the president said. Please be patient. There are many things we would like to say, but we have agreed to limit ourselves, so Kurak himself can give a special introduction. I would like to close by assuring everyone listening that the Balazans are a benevolent race of beings who have my utmost trust. They are not, I repeat, are not out to harm anyone, and there is absolutely no reason to fear or mistrust them. Please stay calm. We will soon address all of your questions. When it looked as if the president were about to sit down, another reporter started to ask questions. But the president insisted on patience until the end of the session. He sat down for the next 40 minutes. Each member of the international delegation got up and said a few words at the podium. Mostly they expressed their appreciation of the aliens' help and affirmed their belief in the goodwill of the Balazans. This is boring, Nick sighed as he rolled his eyes. I want to see this guy prove he really is an ET. How much longer are these politicians going to keep babbling? Valerie wasn't so eager. The longer the leaders talked, the safer she felt. As long as humans directed and controlled the program, the aliens could not be thought of as bad. If the creatures willingly submitted to a well-controlled, well-thought-out human plan of revealing themselves on a familiar household device, she figured they must be courteous enough to allow humans freedom in other areas of life. Stephanie didn't seem too optimistic either. She turned to her mother and asked, Mom, are the aliens friendly? Valerie imagined her face must be pale. She sweat and licked her lips. She hoped her physical appearance didn't give away any of her true feelings. After she paused for a moment, Valerie took a deep breath and tried to talk in a soothing voice, but it still sounded shaky. It appears they are friendly. It was the best she could do. She wanted to comfort her children, but didn't want to lie either. When it looked as if Stephanie might ask some more difficult questions, Valerie said, Kurak is going to talk now. Let's see what he has to say. Stephanie reluctantly turned her head to see more. It's about time, Nick blurted out. I was beginning to wonder how much longer we had to listen to this stupid preamble. The camera zoomed in on Kurak's face as reporters snapped photos. People of Earth, I bid you greetings in the name of the Balazan race. He speaks English, Valerie said with amazement. I am communicating to you telepathically. My thoughts can travel the wavelengths of the transmission you are receiving, and your mind can interpret them as verbal communication. My mouth movements will appear to coincide with the words of your native tongue. Cool, Nick said. Quiet, Valerie commanded. I don't want to miss anything. Nick defiantly huffed and then made sure he kept silent. I come from a planet called Nerovan, many light years away. I am the leader of an innumerable multitude of beings like myself. We have many natural abilities humans do not possess. At will, we can selectively bend light rays and phase shift our bodies, molecules, to become invisible and untouchable. We have an existence that never ceases. What you call immortality, and have been influential on Earth in our wraith-like forms for millions of years, studying, observing, and guiding mankind's developments as best we could. So before I go any farther, I do want to say this scene right here, it reminds me of another allegorical film called this movie has Kevin Spacey and Jeff Bridges in it. At least I think those are the names of the actors. Jeff Bridges is one of my favorite actors. I absolutely love Jeff Bridges. The movie is called K-Pax, and it's a psychological film where Jeff Bridges is a psychologist, and Kevin Spacey's character, which is named Prot, Prot, I believe, again off the top of my head. I haven't seen that movie in a really long time. Where Prot believes that he is an alien from another planet. And when the first half of the movie, you really think that this guy is truly an alien from another planet. I mean, his acting is really, 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 really good in that movie. I mean, I know like it came out that Kevin Spacey, I think he's a pedo too. You know, it sucks because he's such a good actor, but you know that's how it is in Hollywood. You have to be a good actor in order to have a good career in Hollywood, right? These guys are lifetime actors, just like racist pedo guy in Office. But K-Pax it's an absolutely fascinating film, especially the first time you watch it when you don't remember or, you know, like, for me, I've already seen the film so many times that I memorized the ending. But again, I could do a presentation on K-Pax. That movie is so good. I think it's a really good allegory. The bluebird. It's the bluebird of happiness. The bluebird. Observing and guiding mankind's development as best we could. We can also assume human form, which I am doing now so as not to unduly frighten you. But in order to prove my legitimacy, I will now cause some objects in your vicinity to levitate. I'm going to use the restroom real quick before we get back. Oh. Keeps going in and out. Hello, hello, hello. Oh, I'll be right back. Testing. Hello? All right, sick. Welcome. I swear I'll get through this book eventually. Where do we go? We are! Oh, man, I'm freaking tired. I'm going to All right. Can you hear me? Looking good. Mouse still moving. All right, let's get back into the material. Some objects in your vicinity to levitate. The unoccupied love seat in the corner of the room started to rise. Stephanie screamed, and Valerie had to grab her and hold her tight. Okay, Nick said. I'll accept that as proof. Okay, Nick said. I'll accept that as proof. Kurak took a deep breath as if he intended to ramble off a whole list of statistics, but abruptly stopped short and closed his eyes for several seconds. Okay, the broken controller. Okay, stop it, controller. Hang in there, controller. Kurak took a deep breath as if he intended to ramble off a whole list of statistics, but abruptly stopped short and closed his eyes for several seconds. I am sensing a massive tide of thought fear pulsating through my body. Please, we mean you no harm. Though we are highly evolved compared to yourselves, you need not fear us. Our minds are so advanced we could destroy this planet with a mere thought if we so desired, but we will not. Does this not demonstrate we are sincere? Why would a superior enemy come to you peacefully? Kurek closed his eyes again, took a deep breath, and held it, as if analyzing the aroma of some fine fragrance. Then he opened his eyes. I can sense many are still suspicious. Let me tell you more about ourselves. Without need of mechanical devices, we travel the universe in search of life with the potential to evolve into higher forms such as ourselves. Once found, we help such life overcome the obstacles to their development so they can ultimately reach their objective. Total freedom from physical constraints. What you call a spiritual existence or immortality. This is the highest form to which any race can evolve. With the attainment of such development came freedom, peace, and joy. I can't even begin to express. Kurek stopped speaking, and his face took on a contorted expression. Oh, how I wish I could make you fully understand the joy we, too, experience, helping other life forms attain their awesome potential. You see, we discovered your planet millions of years ago, when the dinosaurs reigned supreme. Upon using our abilities to look into the future, we predicted a 96% chance that the dinosaurs would continue to dominate the planet and cause the extinction of many species, including the rudimentary beginnings of man, the ape. But the dinosaurs had no evolutionary potential and wouldn't develop higher consciousness. So we destroyed them by directing a large meteorite to hit the Earth, which hurled dirt and debris into the upper atmosphere, blocked the sun, destroyed planet and animal life, and lowered the global temperature. But as we predicted, numerous warm-blooded mammals, including the ape, survived the harsh climate. Many eons later, you evolved sentience and entered the dark stage. Kurek turned his face violently to the left side as if some invisible foe had struck him. I have just felt pain of your rejection. In time, I hope to make you understand the dark stage is that evolutionary period which we have found intelligent beings inevitably go through as they slowly evolve beyond their bestial nature and progress towards the fullness of virtual godhood. But they must battle against their animalistic tendencies during this time. A predisposition towards violence, selfishness, intolerance, and hatred. It is a time marked by wars, lying, stealing, cruelty, greed, and many other forms of what is generally termed evil. The conduct of the evolving race becomes so reprehensible that in virtually all cases, they eventually destroy themselves. My people, the Balazans, were a rare exception to survive. Kurek stared into the camera and shifted his eyes back and forth, as if searching for some understanding from his viewers. One of the principal ways we helped you was to implant a consciousness bubble into every human born, a type of mind implant that tries to make one believe in God, right and wrong, and life and death in a good place, such as heaven, or a bad place, such as hell, based upon one's behavior in this present life. Many humans believe they have no religious tendencies whatsoever, as the implant exerts a very subtle effect on their minds. Yet it is usually a sufficient hindrance for most evolving beings to inhibit unrestrained, reprobate actions. Kurek stopped talking and stared into the camera, hopefully. Then he added softly, "Now, do you understand? We choose not to openly reveal ourselves to mankind at large until humans had progressed intellectually to the point you have. Most will soon be ready to accept that there is no such thing as God. We are, in fact, the closest thing you will find in the universe to the Almighty." Kurek grasped and jerked backwards in his chair. After a few seconds, he regained his composure. "Unfortunately, many people are presently unable to accept this. I sense many are hurt, confused, and feel betrayed by their belief systems. But I hope the majority will accept us in time. Please let us help you. We have prepared a way to make this possible." Kurek leaned forward and, with as much earnestness as he could muster, said, "We are prepared to console privately each and every individual on the face of this planet. This is not difficult for us to do, for our kind count in billions. If you are living in one of the poor countries of the world, starving and diseased, we can help with that too. At this very moment, Balazan representatives are amongst all individuals on the face of the earth, cloaked and phased, of course. Valerie slowly turned her head to the right and left, but didn't see anything out of the ordinary. A cold shiver crawled up her spine, and her stomach started to ache. She didn't like the thought of one of them in her house. Neat, man, Nick said and jumped up. Show yourself, spaceman. I want to get a better look at you. He ran excitedly around the living room, as if he hoped to get the first glimpse of the Balazan if he decided to show himself. Sit down, Valerie commanded and grabbed her son. Don't you dare show yourself either, she said to the empty air. I don't even want you in my house. Get out of here now! Nick, Stephanie, and Valerie froze, senses of sight and sound straining above the TV, searching for any sign of the Balazan. After a few minutes, Valerie looked at Nick. Don't do that again. Oh, Mom, why can't we? We might as well talk to one of them. They're here anyway. Valerie didn't care. She might not be able to make them leave her house, but she certainly didn't want to talk to one personally. They took their places in front of the TV and continued to listen. Our representatives will not show themselves if you don't wish to see them. If you feel more comfortable with the TV, I will continue to inform you about us through this medium alone. However, I can sense innumerable specific questions from your minds. I cannot possibly answer them all on air. I encourage you to simply ask the Balazan to show himself, and he can give you the individual attention you need. At any point in the discussion, you can ask him to leave, and he will obey your request immediately. He continued to talk, explaining more about themselves and their reasons for the unveiling to the world. Valerie began to feel rather silly. Nick and Kurak were right. The Balazan was in their midst anyway, so she might as well talk to him. If the Balazan had wanted to do her family any harm, he certainly would have done it by now. And she had so many questions she wanted answered. They still hadn't explained why so many people had disappeared. She couldn't totally shake the nagging fears from her mind, but after several more minutes of deep contemplation, she decided to do it. She was working up her nerve when Nick turned and pleadingly looked at her. Please, can we talk to one, Mom? He begged. What harm could it do? Okay. Okay? Nick said as he raised his eyebrows. He looked surprised but certainly didn't argue. I don't think I want to, Stephanie said. I'm scared. Valerie had to hold Nick's younger sister and comfort her. It's going to be fine. I'll make sure nothing bad happens. They sat on the couch. Valerie in the middle, children on either side. They held the remote control together and pushed the off button, a symbolic gesture of their unanimous decision to initiate personal communication. Then Valerie gave the invitation. And that concludes I just reading that chapter out, like I have chills. That, like, the way that he wrote that first chapter is so good. It gets you really intrigued, right? And that's what it should do. Curious. It should. Testing. What's that? We still here? Okay. Yeah, the first chapter of any good book will get you curious. It will get you fired up. It will get you asking questions. Who are these aliens? Who are the Balazans? Are they aliens? Were they born here? How can they become invisible? How can they change chromosomes to become invisible? Like, there's so many questions, and I absolutely love it. Like, I really want to continue reading, but I'm literally too exhausted. But so I'm going to take one last bathroom break. I'm going to move around the deck so I don't get kicked. But man, I really want to see more books from Dennis. Seriously, I really want Dennis, whether it's short stories or, even if it's a book of a collection of short stories by Dennis. I absolutely love his writing. I'm subscribed to his Substack, and I used to get notifications like every time Dennis Gilmour posted a new Substack, I got a notification on my phone. But there's so many different applications on cell phones that you get so many notifications. So I'm trying to stop the notifications, but I should add some of them back. Because, you get a notification from Cash App anytime you charge your card. You get a notification from your bank. I'm sick of notifications. So tired of them. Man, oh gosh. Phone's always freaking vibrating and ding, 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 for no reason. There's always so many reasons for your phone to freaking vibrate. I'm sick of it. I hate phones. I want a T-Mobile Sidekick with a full keyboard. I miss the T-Mobile Sidekicks. The human race went backwards after the T-Mobile Sidekick. But anyways, I'm going to use the restroom real quick. Of Inner City Blues, and then we will conclude this modern day Chautauqua. Thanks again for those of you who are tuned in, or for those of you that are tuned in later. I really appreciate you. I absolutely love this book. This is an amazing book. Can't wait to get to the Inner City Blues lyrics. I'll probably get a little singing in there, and then my stomach keeps growling, so I'll eat my taco from Taco Bell that I got earlier, and then who knows? We'll go from there. I'm all caffeinated from these Twisted Teas. Twisted Tea, please sponsor me. And if Twisted Tea doesn't sponsor me, then use code BeagleEyeVision at w.gg. And channeling my Derek Bartolocelli there. All right, I'll be right back. All right, over here. Testing. It's a little. I test the mic, I fuck a check. The mic, I fuck a check. Check. 1, 2, 3. I plug it in. I make it good, sound as good as can be. All right, I've been wanting to read the lyrics of Inner City Blues by Marvin Gaye. I just love giving credit to these artists back in the day. Marvin Gaye, James Brown. These guys were rebels. Martin Luther King. He's on that list. These guys were true rebels. We don't have any more rebels anymore. People are like, oh, I put my flag to half-staff for Charlie Kirk. Dude, I heard, Charlie Kirk was nothing more than a freaking cult leader, dude. Who was Charlie Kirk? I don't know. I need to do more research into it myself. But, there's no more heroes, as Mark Devlin says. Even though I think Mark Devlin is a modern-day hero. And a lot of the speakers at Freedom Under Natural Law are also modern-day heroes. But we'll talk about more about Freedom Under Natural Law later. Let me I gotta search up these lyrics, and I'll talk about the history of Inner City Blues. Let me use Bing, because Bing gives me rewards points if I use Bing to search. So, Inner City Blues. Inner City Blues by Marvin Gaye. Actually, I'm going to read the Wikipedia because, this song is aged. This song is aged so freaking well. You guys will see when I start reading the lyrics. So this is from Wikipedia. This is not my words. Inner City Blues makes me want to holler. Makes me want to holler. Put up both my hands. Often shortened to Inner City Blues, is a song by Marvin Gaye released as the third and final single and the climactic song from his 1971 landmark album, What's Going On. Beautiful album, by the way. One of my favorite, like, top 10 favorite albums of all time. What's Going On by Marvin Gaye. So good. Written by Gaye and James Nix Jr. That's Nix with a N-Y-X. The song depicts the ghettos and bleak economic situations of inner-city America and the emotional effects these have on inhabitants. The B-side is Holy, Holy, Holy. The song was released on September 16th in 1971, so I was right when I said earlier. It was recorded in March 1971, released in September 1971. Studio is Hitsville, USA, Studio A in Detroit. God, I would love to go see. Is Hitsville, USA still there? I would love to go to Detroit and see that. I would love to go to Detroit. That's where Jack White is from. Man, a lot of good music history in Detroit. Genre, soul, funk, psychedelic. The length is 5 minutes and 28 seconds. The songwriters is Marvin Gaye and James Nix Jr. The producer is Marvin Gaye. I'll read this one chapter and then I'll get to the lyrics. In 1998, co-writer James Nix Jr. recalled, Marvin had a good tune, sort of blues-like, but didn't have any words for it. We started putting some stuff in there about how rough things were around town. We laughed about putting lyrics in about high taxes, because both of us owed a lot. And we talked about how the government would send guys to the moon, but not help folks in the ghetto. Whoa, dude, like that quote right there, let me say it again. Because both of us owed a lot. And we talked about how the government would send guys to the moon, but not help folks in the ghetto. That is so powerful. Powerfully profound. And again, still accurate to this day. Jeff Bezos and Katy Perry went to the moon. Why does Katy Perry need to go to the moon? It doesn't make any sense to my brain. But, you know, again, like I said, these lyrics have aged so beautifully. We can send Jeff Bezos and pop stars who have done nothing for freedom. Katy Perry and Jeff Bezos have nothing to do with freedom, had nothing to do with morality, had nothing to do with making the human race better in any capacity, but these guys are, yep, they're going to the moon. Amazon workers have not been able to get a unionized, but these fucking bald guy and pop star can go to the moon. I wonder, are they in cahoots? Like, I wonder if the bald guy and pop star like went to the moon and like had a 4,000 mile high club. You know, did they start a new club? Like Jeff Bezos was like, man, I love that Katy Perry. Let me get a piece of her. Because that's how Hollywood works. It's all, you know, it's all trafficking. It's all freaking trafficking. But the fact that James Nix Jr. said that is aged so gracefully. I cannot wait to get to these lyrics. We talked about how the government would send guys to the moon but not help folks in the ghetto. But we still didn't have a name or a really good idea of the song. Then I was home reading the paper one morning and I saw a headline that said something about the inner city of Detroit. And then I said, damn, that's it. Inner City Blues. Beautiful. I love how songs come together like that. Something very synchronistic happened today. So when I got picked up to go work on a roof, a talk show radio, and the talk show radio said, remember that movie that talked about the pigs eating human beings, but when you feed a human being to the pig, you got to take the teeth out because the pigs don't digest the teeth, and that's how you can, you know, the crime scene investigators. I literally just watched that movie like 2 weeks ago. And then to hear it on the radio as I'm on my way to work, it made me like it was a synchronistic moment. It made me feel like, although I woke up early and I could have enjoyed my day off and slept in, right? This is how I look at synchronicity. I could have enjoyed my day off. I could have came home early and slept, or no, I could have stayed home and slept with Squirt Dog. But I had that piece of synchronicity, so it made me think that I am doing the correct thing with my life. That's how I look at synchronicity. Because when you get the synchronicity, it's the universe is telling you that you are exactly where you need to be, and you are doing exactly what you need to be doing to become a better human being. The earth will tell it to you. Like, here's speaking of lyrics, before we get into the inner city blues lyrics, the Growlers have a song. The Growlers, listen to faith whisper, it'll try and warn you. Okay, the Growlers, love test lyrics. Since I don't know how you find love in LA, they don't make them like they do in the country. The city moves too fast to appreciate all the time it takes for sweet loving. Again, so true. These lyrics have aged. Even though, this song wasn't written in the 70s, but this is written by the Growlers. But here's the chorus of the song Love Test by the Growlers. This chorus gives me chills. Listen for fate's whisper. It'll try and warn you. Ooh, I literally just got chilled. The hairs on my arm are standing up right now just reading this. Listen for fate's whisper. It'll try and warn you, telling your heart to be cautious of a lover trying to harm you. And that's how I look at synchronicity. Listen for fate's whisper. It'll try and warn you, telling your heart to be cautious of a lover trying to harm you. Right? Beautiful lyrics. Freaking love that. Love Test. I love Love Test by the Growlers. All right, let's get into Inner City Blues lyrics by Marvin Gaye, and then I'll probably listen to the song. I've listened to the song twice. I listened to it twice yesterday, too. The song is so good. It's aged so well, and my Uncle Doug, fudge. May my Uncle Doug rest in peace, but, my Uncle Doug, he passed away a few years ago. He would drink alone because Uncle Doug hated drama. He had a sign in his house that said, "No bullshit." And he held true to that sign till the day he died. He held true to that sign. He didn't want any bullshit in his house. Like he fought my dad. Like he went toe to toe with my dad, because my dad would just come, like he would get drunk and start on his bullshit. Oh man, I miss you, Uncle Doug. Fucking miss you, man. But he would drink alone, and he would put a little disco ball in the living room, and he would listen to Marvin Gaye, just drinking. Like that's what I do with Mac DeMarco. Mac DeMarco's music reminds me of Marvin Gaye, and it makes me feel like how I imagine Uncle Doug felt when he was, just got off work, drinking a beer with his disco ball, hanging out with his dogs, with a little disco ball, listening to Marvin Gaye. That's how I feel when I listen to Mac DeMarco. And, that's how I feel when I listen to Marvin Gaye, too. Marvin Gaye is a beautiful artist. He's an amazing man. And like I said, there's no more rebels anymore. There's no more heroes, like what Mark Devlin says. I still look up to Mark Devlin. Mark Devlin is a legend. But anyways, nobody's here. Nobody's tuned in. So let's wrap this up so I can go watch Bob Marley, the Bob Marley movie, and drink alone and hang out with my dogs, just like Uncle Doug. Fucking miss you, man. Miss you, brother. All right, so Inner City Blues, Makes Me Want to Holler, song by Marvin Gaye. Rockets, moonshots. Oh, that's what he says. See, I've never even read these lyrics. Rockets, moonshots. Spend it on the have-nots. Money, we make it. Before we see it, you take it. again, taxation. This song is aged so gracefully. So gracefully. Oh, it makes you want to holler. The way they do my life. Yeah, it makes me want to holler. The way they do my life. This ain't living. This ain't living. No, no, baby. This ain't living. No, no, no. Inflation. No chance. To increase. Finance. Bills pile up. Sky high. Send that boy off. To die. I'm like reading this as if I'm a slam poet. Inflation. No chance. To increase. Finance. Bills pile up. Sky high. Send that boy off. To die. Oh, makes me want to holler the way they do my life. Makes me want to holler the way they do my life. Hang-ups, letdowns, bad breaks, setbacks. Natural fact is, I can't pay my taxes. Oh, makes me want to holler and throw up both my hands. Yeah, it makes me want to holler and throw up both my hands. Crime is increasing. Here's the clincher right here. Crime is increasing. Trigger happy policing. Oh my God. Rest in peace, Renee Good. Rest in peace, George Floyd. Breonna Taylor. Alex Preddy. God. Makes me sick. Makes me want to throw up my hands and holler. Makes me want to throw up both my hands. Trigger happy policing. Panic is spreading. God knows where we're heading. Mother, mother, everybody thinks we're wrong. Who are they to judge us? Simply because we wear our hair long. And this song is perfect for the next modern day Chautauqua. I'm going to get into a book called The Last of the Hippies. And there is a quote that reminds me of that line right there. Who are they to judge us simply because we wear our hair long? You know, there's a quote in that book, and I've already done a book review on the last. On The Last of the Hippies. I've already done a book review, and I talk about it in that book review about, you know, people who back in the 80s and back in the 70s, people who had their hair long were looked at as immoral human beings. They were looked at as long-haired hippies. You know, immoral because you grow your hair too long. You're an immoral human being. You become an illegal human being because your hair isn't short enough. Fuck, can you imagine? Gosh, golly, I cannot wait to get into that book, and I'll be sober for when I do the Chautauqua for The Last of the Hippies. And then after Last of the Hippies, I will do a favor for Matt Bennett because not enough people are buying Matt Bennett's books. I mean, not enough people are buying books in general, but more specifically, not enough people are buying Matt Bennett's book. And Matt Bennett's book is amazing. It's really good. It's a really good book. You can read it on the toilet. Like, I read that book in less than a day. It's not a long book. Same with The Last of the Hippies. You can read the upcoming book on the Chautauqua that I'm going to do. You can read The Last of the Hippies in a day. You can read Drifter Diaries by Matt Bennett in less than a day. The Unveiling by Dennis Gilmour is going to make you think a little bit more. And I got it right in front of me. So how many pages is The Unveiling? The Unveiling took me a little bit. There's 326 pages in The Unveiling. So, you know, you could read The Unveiling in a week, you know, depending on how aggro you want to get with reading the book. But I think I'm going to end the live stream here, and we're almost at 2 hours. Really good live stream. I hope you guys learned something. Let's go to freedomundernaturallaw.com because they're always updating the website. Freedom under Natural Law. Get that nattylaw.com. FreedomUnderNaturalLaw.com. They looks like they updated the website again. A free 2-day online event with presenters to inspire action towards truth, love, and freedom. Featured presenters: Brandon Martin, Nate Cap, Chris Jansen, Leslie Powers, Cynthia Mitchell, Tyler Bloyer, James Cordner, Soul Expression, Jerry Cabazudo, Corey Angela, Derek Bartolicelli, Kat Waters. Absolutely love Kat Waters. I love her. I wish I lived closer to Kat Waters. I would literally ask to go out to dinner with Kat Waters. Yo, Kat Waters, you want to go out to dinner? Put it in the comments below. No, message me. Message me. No, I love Kat Waters. Her work is phenomenal. Brandon Spencer, Dan Arnold, Stefana Johnson, Conrad Ragose. Love Conrad Ragose. And Will Keller. Mark your calendars for February 21st to 22nd, 2026. Join us for Funnel 5, Ignite Hearts and Minds, a powerful 2-day online gathering of truth seekers, natural law teachers, and conscious artists. This free event is dedicated towards inspiring real-world action towards truth, love, and freedom. We need your help to share this event far and wide, and yes, that is a very true statement. We need help to spread the message of truth, love, and freedom far and wide. 2 days of truth speakers, presentations, music, and more. Sign up to receive updates. Join the newsletter. I already signed up. So make sure you go to the website. All of these interviews that have been coming out have been phenomenal. There was the interview that came out today was kind of a little group chat dealio. Look up Freedom Under Natural Law's YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe. Sea of Thieves has got a new season update coming. So, and I am on Sea of Thieves right now. This is for those of you who do not know. I am on the Sea of Thieves video game. That's the platform I choose because on Sea of Thieves we are pirates and we want freedom. That's why we choose to sail these seas. We choose to sail the seas on the Sea of Thieves because this is true freedom right here. So I'm gonna set the ship on fire. Oh, I can't shut it. I can't set the ship on fire because I don't have any fire bombs. But anyways, do a little dance, make a little love, and I'm gonna get down tonight so I can sleep in before work tomorrow. So I've worked 7 days this week. I'm not happy about it, but my bills are paid. So maybe next week I'll actually get a day off. Hopefully during Freedom Under Natural Law I won't have to work in the morning and I'll be able to get Freedom Under Natural Law just totally off and I'll be able to hang out with the beagles, hang out with the dogs all day, have a grand old good time weekend, not deal with any dumb customers who don't know how to operate their own debit cards, or deal with any people who don't know how to drive or anybody at the bus stop who smells like cat piss and cigarettes. Yeah, hopefully I actually get a full day off here soon. And I'm definitely looking forward to it for sure. I'm going to be heading to Chicago in March. So make sure you tune into the Beagle Eye Visions page on Facebook, right? Go like the Beagle Eye Visions page on Facebook. I got a bunch of beautiful photos there. If you're into art and photography, I have a lot of beautiful photography on the Beagle Eye Visions Facebook page. And when I go to Chicago, I've never seen the Green River in Chicago for St. Patty's Day. So I'm going to shoot the shit out of that thing. I'm going to get so many different angles of the Green River in Chicago. I cannot wait. I'm going to be hanging out with the Banshees and Matt Bennett on St. Patty's Day. We invited Dennis Gilmour, the author of this great book, The Unveiling. We invited Dennis Gilmour. Maybe he'll show up. And if he doesn't, hey, he's still a good man for as much as work. For as much work Dennis has been pumping out on freedom and what on earth is happening.wtf website is that's a website that yet another website that Dennis runs because Dennis is a fucking legend. Matt Bennett is a fucking legend. My aunt Jessie, who was on the roof, I was on the roof with her this morning, also a legend. And anyways, I love all of you guys. Thank you so much if you made it this far. I truly appreciate you. If you want to leave a like, hey, I don't like doing this, but if you want to leave a like and if you want to subscribe, guess what? It costs you no money. Beagle Eye Visions will never, never, never have a premium subscription price. Beagle Eye Visions is for the people. For the people, by the people, of the people. Okay? So, study truth, love, freedom, study natural law. Make sure you tune in to Freedom Under Natural Law. Follow the website. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's going to be a beautiful weekend. The weather's opening it up. We live in a beautiful world, like what Coldplay says. You know. Stay tuned. Stay gold. I'm officially signing off. I'm going to go freaking relax. Lay back with some beagles. They probably have to go poop again. Probably have to go OUT. Hey, boys! You go potty? Oh, Snoopy is sleeping. They are passed out. It's nap time, but I'm sure they'll have to go potty in less than 30 seconds. Or less than 30 minutes. Yep, I'm saying keywords and they're still not moving, so I guess it's nap time. But anyways, gave you the old Midwest goodbye. Stay tuned. Stay gold. Until next time, there will be more modern-day Chautauquas. And if you don't follow Beagle Eye Visions on Twitch or Facebook, make sure you go on Twitch and Facebook on Beagle Eye Visions. Make sure you keep up. Make sure you get all the updates. Tune into Freedom Under Natural Law. And once again, stay tuned. Stay gold. One love. Signing off. Until next time, Beagle Eye Visions. Stay gold, like my right nipple over here. I don't even have a right nipple. All right, stay tuned, stay gold.